Hi everyone, this is the Chungler, and welcome back to my Fire Emblem Echoes LTC playthrough. Today we're going to be finishing up Act 1 with the last map, Zofia Gate. This is why we were getting Silk 6 warp range, so that she could start warping people over the wall on this map. Our first warp is going to Gray for obvious reasons, our best combat unit with the lightning sword, as well as having 5 movement, meaning he can get in range of Slade's Cavalier squad on turn 1. Claire also swaps Cliff 1 tile forward with the leather shield. This is that he can enemy phase an archer on turn 2. Python and Forsyth are on their way to deal with the archers on the left side of the map, which they'll do pretty easily because they have a lot of turns to do so, even though Python doesn't do very much damage. Clive is just going to walk to the action and get there by turn 3 to start contributing, which is nice because he doesn't need warped, and we only have a limited amount of warps. We only get 4 warps on relevant units in this map. Here's the start of Gray's enemy phase and him pulling all of Slade's squad over to him. The next warp is going to go to Alm. He's also a pretty good combat unit, as well as having really good bulk. He is going to take out one of the Cavaliers that Gray chipped on his phase. Gray's going to take out an archer who couldn't kill on enemy phase, just because we need to use our player phase actions to kill these archers, because they're really annoying to kill on enemy phase. Claire is a bit mispositioned here. She should have gone left so that she could have done something more useful on turn 3. But I'll explain that when we get there. Faye is going to heal Gray on this turn, though if she doesn't have enough physic range, she can also heal Silk on this turn instead and heal Gray next turn, which is a little bit less demanding on the physic range required. Cliff is going to start dueling one of these archers on the wall. He needs to kill that archer in 2 rounds of combat, so hitting 3 out of 4 iron bows, which isn't great, but no clear of Zofia Castle is going to be complete without shitty hit rates and bad reliability. Alm levels up here, meaning Cavaliers will stop attacking him. This is actually pretty bad, because ideally Alm gets surrounded before Slade's turn in the movement order, so that Slade is forced to attack Gray. But it's okay, because Alm leveled up speed as well, meaning Slade doesn't double him, and thus still goes for Gray. Gray needs to kill Slade by engaging him in 2 rounds of combat with the lightning sword, hitting 3 out of 4 times. With Alm's support bonuses, he has around 70-ish hit on Slade, which isn't too bad. It's certainly better than like the mid-60s hit he'd have otherwise. Gray finishes off Slade here, as well as moving 1 tile backwards so that Faye can physic him if she has not enough physic range on turn 2.
Don't worry about me.
Cliff then misses the archer here, so we turn wheel to correct that, because we don't want this archer attacking Claire on this turn. Again, Claire is a little bit mispositioned. She should have been in range of the other archer on the wall so that she could help Tobin kill him if Tobin didn't have enough magic. But our Tobin thankfully has 10 attacks, so that fuck up didn't cost me a reset or anything like that. Tobin is also going to learn Excalibur here, which is important because it allows him to 1-round KO archers now on base male mage attack, which is pretty good. Claire, instead of attacking the archer like she should have, attacks the soldier here. This works out okay because Claire has a bulk level up from the grinding fights, but she actually doesn't need the bulk level up if she's just finishing off the archer on this turn, because the soldier will attack her on enemy phase, and then she can go get herself healed. So she never has to engage the soldier in 2 rounds of combat in a row, where she would die. I cut here because I was kind of unsure what to do. I end up having Alm kill this Cavalier here. If your Alm doesn't have enough strength to 4-hit KO Cavaliers, it's probably best to just leave him alone so that he doesn't activate his retreat AI, because that Cavalier would kind of be a problem if he retreated. The other Cavaliers not so much, because they would have retreated earlier in the map. Like the one getting healed by this Arcanist here. Claire crits the soldier here. This wasn't required, but it is nice because it means we need to hit fewer steel lances, and Claire only has like 64 true hit on the soldier with a steel lance, so anytime we don't have to hit as many of those is pretty nice. Tobin finishes off an archer here with fire, but he could have done this with Excalibur as long as he has it by this point. I wasn't quite sure what I was doing with Clive here. But before that, I'm going to have Cliff take out the soldier with curved shot, so it's pretty nice that he learned that in the grinding fight and improves his hit rates a lot, which is pretty good. Silk is now going to work Faye inside the castle so that she can heal Gray with Recover. This just gives him a little bit more HP. It means his survival is basically guaranteed against all of the enemies he fights, instead of being a little bit more suspect if Faye had only physicked him with less magic. Alm takes out a Cavalier so that Gray can move ahead and start countering the enemies on the northern part of the map. Lucas sadly doesn't have very much to do. He's carrying a provision for Claire in case she needs it, but otherwise, yeah, not very much for him. Python is going to grab the mana herb that Forsyth has been carrying around for him so that the archer's retreat AI doesn't get overrided, and have him kill Python, which we definitely don't want. So instead we're just going to have we're going to let the archer retreat this turn and then kill him on Python's next player phase. Again, wasn't quite sure what to do with Claire here because she kind of killed the soldier way faster than I expected. But Clive's positioning here is so that the Arcanist attacks him, and so that he doesn't attack Gray, because otherwise Gray has a chance of death. The first archer that attacks Gray attacks him from 3 range, which forces the second archer to attack him from 2 range, meaning he gets countered by the lightning sword, which is pretty nice. Faye misses a Nosferatu on the Cavalier that attacks her on this enemy phase. I turn wheel for this, though it's not strictly necessary. Faye only needed to hit 2 out of 3 Nosferatus, and she has another pair of enemy phase and player phase to do it. So I do just turn wheel to try and get it out of the way earlier, but I probably should have just waited to turn wheel and saw if she actually hit on the next 2 chances. But yeah, Python will finish off the archer that started retreating and get a level up, which is kind of nice. There's not really anyone else to give experience to except Python around here, so we might as well give it to him. He has like serviceable combat in Act 3, even if he's not going to be all that great for us. Gray had to enemy phase the knight as well, which does a lot of damage to him, but because he got healed by Faye, he wasn't in any risk of dying. Tobin is going to activate a hit support with Gray for a little bit of extra reliability. Not strictly necessary, but kind of nice to do. And after that, he is going to kill the knight with Excalibur for a little bit of added flair. Gets a crit 2. I should have moved Alm here first so that Gray would be in his support range and get 5 extra hit against this archer he attacks. There wouldn't have been any problems with moving Alm first, but I just forgot to do it. But after Gray kills the archer, Alm and Clive will gang up on the Arcanist here, and they can KO him with a combination of their attacks, even on base strength for both of them, as long as they both hit. Alm and Clive also do a kind of nice thing of blocking Gray in, because Gray only has 4 HP, and if he wasn't being blocked, then the Cavalier would suicide, or would kill Gray instead of suiciding. The Cavalier's suicide on this phase, though, because Gray is also blocking the entrance to the supply tile room, so we're able to kill any of the Cavaliers that we don't kill on player phase on this turn. So yeah, that is Zofia Gate completed in 5 turns. And next time, we will be looting Zofia Castle, as well as starting Act 2 in the Priory with Celica. Alright, see you then.